If you thought navigating the dating scene was hard as is, wait till you're trying to navigate the dating scene as a conservative.
And I'm not playing these games. I'm not playing these games. I'm not playing these games.
I'm sure some of you already know that it do be like that. So to make it through, here's a little dating advice based on what I've learned as a 20-something conservative who's experienced every type of scenario you can imagine. And I mean every.
This is probably the worst date I've ever been on.
I'm AlexClark, and this is POPlitics. Here's some of my conservative dating advice to live by. Rule number 1. Be friends first, or at the very least, make sure you can have fun together. If you start getting to know each other as friends first, it helps to make the getting to know one another process a little easier without the pressure of romance or expectations. Plus, this is the chance to see if he would still love you if you were a worm, or if he's a dude-servative for reals.
Worms everywhere?
Sometimes people say lots of things the other person wants to hear when first dating because you think you're in love, you don't want to lose the other person, and you think you'll just work it out later. I'm here to say, nope. Spend quality time together for a couple months before making it official. With and without each other's friend groups too, so you can see what they're like alone and what they're like with the people they spend the most time with. Because you know what they say, you are the average of the 5 people you are around the most.
Don't you get it? I want to go on a date. I'm lonely.
Rule number 2, don't date a lefty. Just don't do it. It will almost always be such a massive waste of both of your time if you're dating to find someone to marry at all. Raising kids will be a nightmare and a full-on ideological war at home.
Well, isn't that just convenient for you?
This is the rule, not the exception. Someone I work with here at TPUSA used to be a leftist. She was even dating a conservative. He was really patient with her, and finally, after several years, she left the left, and now they're engaged. But that is like finding a needle in a haystack. Don't count on people changing.
Dialogue. We had a little dialogue.
And if he's a lefty, you know his parents probably are too. In-laws can be a whole dang pill to swallow during the holidays already. Plus, marriage in general is hard. In-laws are not. My married friends can tell you for a fact that as rewarding as marriage is, there is so much work and compromise and communication involved. Don't add on unnecessary stressors if you don't have to. Building a family with the same values is so important to your life.
Okay, you can dump him now.
The only other caveat for this rule is if they vote differently than you, but otherwise are completely unengaged politically and it doesn't bother them that you're conservative at all. If you are also the same way and you don't care to constantly be engaged in what's going on in the world politically, then maybe you'll have a chance, but if one or both of you eat, sleeps, and breathes politics, run. Run, Forrest, run! Rule number 3, don't compromise on your fundamental beliefs, political, religious, or anything else that you know without a doubt is a deal breaker to you, like smoking or not wanting kids.
You gotta be willing to give and take.
Story time. So a few years ago, I went on a dating show and there was a guy who leaned left while I leaned right.
Oh my.
He asked me point blank on the show, are you pro-life even though you're a woman?
Sure.
And I had to choose in that moment. Do I lie or downplay what I believe to keep him around a little longer? Or do I take the L, lose him, but go to bed knowing I chose the truth? Here's what happened.
You don't believe in pro-choice?
No, I'm very pro-life.
What became kind of chit-chatty, nice, flirty conversation got serious. Pro-choice versus pro-life? That's a tough one, because...
Is that hard for you? Would that be like a deal breaker for you?
There's such thing as a deal breaker. I'm not like that rigid, but it's at least on that one item, I don't find that acceptable.
I have dated people that have completely opposite views of me, and we can discuss like, wow, we're so different, but like Ben, he's just like, oh, like I'm thinking different of you as a person because you feel that way.
I would definitely prefer to like marry somebody that had the same like views and values and those types of things.
Yeah, but you're like 23. You don't even know what your values in life are yet. Like you're still like learning these things.
Oh dear. The fish ended up on the filthy floor.
When you decide to start dating, you have to go into it with your principles figured out. Principles are fundamental truths that form your system of belief. When someone is dating you, they're technically dating your values too. Not every guy is going to agree with you, and relationships require compromise. But compromise on where you're going to dinner or what vacation you'll take next. Don't compromise your principles.
Where do your loyalties lie, with your family or your principles?
Rule number 4, recognize that every cuteservative and dudeservative is different. Again, just because someone says they're conservative doesn't mean you necessarily share the same conservative views. I've been in quite a few serious relationships with men who consider themselves to be conservative, and they couldn't be more different from one another.
It's a tough call.
They're so different.
Even if you and your significant other both fall on the conservative spectrum, it's important to understand that we all need to be listened to in our own way. Individual personalities feel heard and respected differently. If you haven't read the 5 love languages yet or taken their free quiz to find out your love language, I recommend it. Once you've taken that, you'll feel like a Care Bear shooting out love to your partner. And that wasn't an innuendo. My boyfriend is a conservative, but I would say that he leans a little bit more to the moderate conservative side, and I definitely lean further right than him. But at the end of the day, the same things matter the most to us.
We gonna get along just fine.
Rule number 5, remember you can talk about other things besides politics. Not everything has to be about the news, Hollywood communism, and weekend activism events.
It doesn't?
No, talk about your favorite memories from childhood. If they believe in God, what scares them, who their celebrity crush is, or their favorite place in your town. There is truly so much more to life beyond politics, and you're all smart. Think of something that doesn't end in a fight.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Okay, maybe don't ask that question on a first date.
Too soon? Okay.
So those are my 5 dating tips, but now I'm going to read some of yours. Tara said, on the first date, ask yourself, would he be able to provide for me in a zombie apocalypse?
I said certified freak house. There's some 7.
Mackenzie said, take them to SAS with you.
All we ever hear from you is blah, blah, blah. All we ever do is go, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Haley said, if you're on the apps, blatantly list conservative in your bio and weed out a bunch of crazies.
Oh, my God. What is that? What was that? Is that cheese? Have you eaten cheese?
How much cheese have you eaten today?
How much cheese is too much cheese?
Any amount of cheese.
Before a date is too much cheese.
I had a lot of cheese. I had a block of cheese.
Kellyanna said, find someone who will wait until you're married to have sex.
I like sex. It's nice.
The classy, sassy conservative said, chase after that toxic masculinity. Those are the real alpha men.
I am a man.
Dahlia said, don't settle for someone that says he's a moderate. He has to be conservative. Well, listen, my boyfriend's not a moderate. I'm just saying that he would be more moderate on the conservative scale than me, but he is a conservative.
It's called congratulations. You played yourself.
Clee said, imagine that person parenting your child. It'll put things into perspective real quick. That's a good one.
Great. Jeffrey, put down the crossbow. I am so tired.
Emma said, pray with them and for them. Talk about your plans for finances, family, and healthcare early on.
Seriously, how much money you make?
Steph said, don't fall for the engagement without the ring. Woo! Steph bringing the fire. That is a very, very good one, and I wish I would have thought of that. Actually, while we're getting dating advice, how about we walk around and get some from Turning Point staff? Come on. Emma, what is your #1 piece of dating advice for CUTEservatives?
To never date just because you're lonely. You should always wait for the right person to come along, and when you're ready, and I promise you it'll be worth it.
My dating advice is when my girlfriend and I first started to go out, we were new to this new city, so we went everywhere together. We tried all the new spots, and it was so fun getting to know the place we were living in and everything like that. So I would say go places together, have fun, enjoy your time together, and not just enjoy the little things in life.
Don't be afraid to fart in front of each other.
My dating advice is date people that are similar-minded or pursuing the same things, because it's okay to be different, but it's not your job to fix them or change them.
So I'm married. I think my best piece of advice is to stay off the apps. Go meet people in real life. Ask your friends. I met my husband through a friend of mine from work, and now we're happier than ever.
If you're dating a guy and you maybe have to do long distance or something like that, and the guy tries to say, well, it's long distance, it might not work out, that is wrong. Don't let a guy tell you that long distance won't work out. If the guy wants to make it work, he will make it work. And the same thing can be said for women, but long distance relationships should not be an excuse for an end of a relationship. If you guys love each other, you should totally try and make it work.
#1, honor God with your relationship, because if you both have a higher standard, everything will go smoother.
That's so good. Did you have one more thing?
Yeah, I just wanted to say also there are 2 ways that your dating relationship could go. It could either end or it could go towards marriage, so date intentionally.
And there you have it. Conservative dating advice to live by from yours truly, CUTEservatives, and straight from HQ Conservatives. Hit the like button, share your best dating advice in the comments, post this episode to your stories to help us hit 100K, and hit that save button. We're back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. It's pop culture without the propaganda every single day. I'm AlexClark, and this is POPlitics. So Support POPlitics, the first ever conservative pop culture daily show, by subscribing to our channel, turning on notifications, and of course, hitting the thumbs up. Also, our main home is on Instagram. Seriously, just trust me, that's where the real magic happens. Follow us there at POPlitics.